Are you surprised by anything anymore? Is there any like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that?
Maybe from a technological standpoint, a little bit, because it seems like for so long, technology moved so glacially,
at a glacial pace.
You know what I mean? And now it seems like it is rapidly, like pretty soon, there are gonna be robots everywhere. They're gonna be smarter than us. You know what I mean?
Well, it only really seems like there's just one element of technology that's advancing, which is AI.
Yeah.
But
and robots.
Are robots advancing?
Oh yeah, dude.
I saw one video of like a humanoid type robot. I forget who was responsible for it, but
Boston Dynamics has a new robot, and it got up. It was like laying down, and they introduced it a few days ago, and it got up, and its joints are all 360, so it gets up, and you're behind it. The camera's behind it, and then it like the whole body twists around, and as it's coming towards you, its legs just, oh, dude.
Like a horror movie?
It is exactly like a horror movie.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, you can find it on YouTube.
You know what? We need to fucking deal with these nerds already, all right? Enough of this shit. They're like sitting in the lab, concocting the most hellish...
I want to roll it back to 1985. I don't think we are any better off.
All right, is this the guy?
That's the guy. I'm not sure this is the video that I saw, but it might be. It's okay. Yeah, it is.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude, it hadn't even got started yet. He's just getting warmed up.
Could they have
a vision of your grisly death?
Could they have made this thing more intimidating?
I don't know. Probably not.
Oh my god. And I like how it starts from a position
of,
it's useless. It's dead.
And its legs fold back like the fucking Exorcist, dude.
Oh my god.
And I also like how it's named 001. As in more to come, dude.
Man, fuck Boston Dynamics. What are they doing over there? It even sounds threatening. The way that it's
Imagine an army of like 500 of them. That would be like.
Oh, we're not gonna have to imagine it. That's gonna happen. That's like the next step. That's why it's 001. It's not 01.
Yeah,
it's 001.
There's gonna be at least 999 of those things.
Robots into the impressive dancing and acrobatic robot we've come to know in a number of clever demonstrations.
Oh, we're past the dancing robot phase. This next robot is going to be here to fucking
Boston Dynamics
hold a rifle and point it at your children.
Oh, dude, there's already a robot. It came out like 3 days ago that it's one of those dog robots with a flamethrower.
I saw that. Which is like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, everybody's neighborhood. If you have like a Tesla tech bro living in your neighborhood, it's got to get burned to the ground.
If there's a Cybertruck.
If there's a Cybertruck anywhere in your neighborhood.
Within a mile and a half of your house. Pretty cool robot. It's got a bit of a lag because it has to send everything up to a server and then get it back down. But, Tesla's got a bot. I don't think it's as good as the Figure bot at this point. But,
someone's going to hack those robots. They're sending servers to a signal. Or signals to a server. Someone's intercepting. There's a man-in-the-middle attack that's gonna happen. These robots one day are just gonna flip the fuck out at somebody else's command. This dude's staring. He's gonna fucking take this plate and just like across his throat.
He's gonna break it on the table, and then it's gonna be razor sharp, and he's gonna fucking cut the guy's head off.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna make this. His little eye things are gonna.
I mean, this shit looks terrifying.
If
it was the 50s, people would be scared of that shit.
I know. I mean, I'm kind of scared of that shit. Wait, what? Humans
this is where he's talking about how fast humans process.
Macro adjustments. Humans are in the order of 250 milliseconds, and fun fact, a cat's reaction time is around 30 milliseconds. So essentially,
that's not true. I catch those little bitches all the time. They're always so slow, and I get mad at them. Like, you're supposed to be a cat. You shouldn't be letting me catch you.
They are using a combination of different neural.
Oh yeah, we're toast. We are so toast when that fucking robot that sat up.
Oh yeah, I mean, as far as just
like a server.
I mean, they're not just coming for artists; they're coming for all kinds of shit. And the thing is that's what this thing is about. This is the fucking Amazon bot, I think. Yeah, yep, this is it, I guess, or something like it. They talk about it, but they're like, these things are pretty close to coming online, and when they do, that's pretty much going to be it.
Well, you know what? If nothing else, this is going to really fast track a
Universal basic
very
income.
violent and violent and all-encompassing revolution of out of work motherfuckers who realize
That's the thing.
all the years that they spent hating on homeless people only to find themselves
And communists.
commies and homeless. They're the two most hated people. The two most hated people in all of America are soon about to have their ranks explode once these robots take over.
I mean, the sad thing is that like,
oh, nice! I don't have to do dishes anymore.
It's like, what are these like? People are asking the right questions. This guy's like, well, what is everyone going to do? And they start talking about universal basic income. But every universal basic income thing I've seen is like pennies on the fucking dollar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like $1,000 a month.
Yeah, it's like, hey guys, most people are making way more than that.
It's gonna have to be way more than. I mean, they're gonna.
I mean, the thing is like, to me,
we've built a society that you cannot survive in without like devoting massive amount of time
yes.
working for commiserate pay, generally speaking.
Yes, it's system. It's not even about it's. I mean, the idea that it's about merit or something like that at this point is kind of it's just giving us something to do. This is how our thing works. We work all day, we get money, and that allows us to have some fun and feel give us spend time during the day doing shit.
And it's a total management of both our time so that we aren't fucking going nuts in the streets or whatever, and also resource allocation. So you figure out
going nuts in the streets, because that's exactly what we would do.
I mean,
every society that didn't have something to do ends up going nuts in the streets.
Well, in one capacity or another, but I mean, it's not necessarily a negative thing when I say go nuts. I don't mean like we're all going to have hatchets and going after each other purge style, but to the mind of to the mind of a capitalist who looks at somebody that's just sitting on a bench enjoying their day, that's lost revenue. Like, that's somebody that could be doing some kind of work
maybe.
But you don't have to look at people that way anymore if it's a robot that's doing all of it. But when you see, it's kind of like the same attitude of those people that you were telling me about, like, the animosity they have against artists and whatnot. Why it exists, I don't know, but they have it. And people have that same attitude towards anyone that they don't see working.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not going to go away overnight.
Some people way more than others, but that's a particular thing, and it's a particular American thing. It's like the idea of like, well, I'm supporting them somehow, and it's just kind of like, the thing is that like, what is everyone gonna do?
That's what I'm trying to get at. Is like, universal basic income does not replace.
It can't be fucking basic. It's gonna have to be universal advanced income. You know what I'm saying?
Well, either that or we're going to have to abolish rent and mortgage.
Or, I mean, what they could basically do is they could go to these companies and they could say, okay, here's the deal. If you don't want to employ people, then you're going to have to pay a tax rate somewhere in the market, somewhere in the neighborhood of like 98%. You know what I mean? Because basically, you're not employing anybody. You're not getting any back. So at 98%, you'll still make a fuck ton of money, but we're going to have to literally pay all the people that you guys didn't pay. You know what I mean? And they're like, well, what's the point of having the robots? It's like, exactly. So why don't you just fuck off, tell the robots to fuck off and just keep doing what you were doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the point of having the robots is, you don't have to worry about, a robot
unionizing,
because a machine cut the robot's hand off.
Yeah. The robot just goes in and has a new hand put on.
Yeah, you could actually optimize your warehouse space because you can get rid of the bathrooms altogether.
Yeah,
robot doesn't do
heat, no air conditioning. Think about all the air conditioning money you'd save.
Yeah, you don't need. Well, I guess you would still need some cool. You don't want the machines to overheat if it gets too crazy in there, but you could set the AC to a way higher limit than you could if it was people in there. So that's a big plus.
You could put all the factories in the Arctic. Go into Antarctica because, the machines are generally hot. All the servers are making heat. Just put that way you wouldn't have to pay for any heat or air conditioning. Just build the whole thing in the Arctic. Don't even make it climate controlled at all. Just a fuck ton of robots in there busting their asses. Put a couple of huge wind turbines up. You're
planting the seed for a sci-fi movie here, where it's a factory of robots in the Antarctic, but the rest of the world, the society of the rest of the world has collapsed. And humanity, does it still exist? I don't know, because all we know is that these robots are still building shit for people.
Yeah.
But like one robot somehow, like there's also like an automated shipping system or whatever that it's a cargo ship that's run by robots, and it gets loaded by robots, and it sends it off to where the people are. But then one of the robots, for whatever reason, doesn't get off the ship when it needs to, and the ship goes and it goes to the rest of society, and there are no people, and it's just this robot, and the robot has to process what it's looking at and how to get back to the factory, and it goes on its own adventure.
And he realizes, like, he finds like a desert, and it's got like billions and billions of products just stacked up because the robots have just been making them for years and years and years. People have been dead for like 100, 200 years. You know what I mean?
Like the drop-off point for the cargo is just full of like everything. But then out there in the wilderness, there's like people starving, and like it's like, you guys, if you just went like that way,
40 feet this way,
you'd have
infinite food,
everything you could ever want and imagine. But like there's something there's something perilous that's keeping them. And the robot is their only is like they find the robot, they could be their Sherpa to the resources they need. Don't steal this idea.
Yeah, this is gold.
We're gonna workshop this one. Is that thing good with knives too? So it could cook for me? You don't want it to be good with knives? Are you kidding me? You're gonna wake up and see that thing standing over you with a fucking.
Dude, you can get the dog with the flamethrower and give it a gun instead of a flamethrower, and it'll patrol the house for you.
I also give it a gun so I can patrol the house at night while I'm sleeping. That's funny. Do you live in like a big house?
I was gonna say.
It would be so funny if you lived in like a 1-bedroom apartment, but you had a robot with a gun just pacing the hall.
Well, that thing about it, when like we're not that far. I mean, we're not that fucking far off from these robots being used in kind of hostage situations.
No, I think we're pretty much there.
Imagine how that's going to change the game if you're going to take some hostages. And so the cops are like, listen. This is not a thing anymore. Let the guys go, or fate worse than death. You know what I mean? We're gonna send in a couple of our guys, and needless to say, there's nothing you can do to, you know what I mean? And the guy's like, yeah, it's a good point.
Well, I mean, the idea of the hostages, like, you're not going to send in, even if it's a robot, you're not going to send them in because then we'll kill the hostages.
Unless the robots are so fast they can't kill that many. He's like, you might kill one or two, but these guys will be on you in seconds.
Or if they're IDF trained robots.
Yeah.
then all bets are off. You don't know what those motherfuckers are going to do.
Yeah.
Like, you better get those hostages someplace safe.
Well, the good news is the robots killed the bad guy. The bad news is they also killed the hostages.
So, you know what? Life is all about gives and takes over here. You take your lessons, you give your lessons. Let's go get some to drink.
It's going to be pretty weird, I think, when like people are having to contend with robot crime deterrence. You know what I mean? Like invincible.
I mean, that's a big point of contention in a lot of social justice movements right now.
Yeah,
Whether not just like, RoboCops and shit, but also just using AI to face scan people and creating a database of faces and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
like
I can see that leads to a pretty dystopian place.
Massively dystopian nightmare that nobody. It's kind of remarkable, the juxtaposition, and maybe it's not a coincidence, but the juxtaposition of the rapid advance in all of this technology and the complete and utter lack of action from like governments in recognizing the impact of these technologies on society and doing anything at all to like mitigate the negative effects. Like, it seems like one's up here and the other is way down here.
I mean, A, we live in the wrong country for that, and we both know that.
That's very true.
But B, it's happened so fast.
It has happened.
You know what I'm
really,
saying?
really quick.
It's like, dude, I mean, like a year and a half ago, it was still that Will Smith eating spaghetti thing. It was just like it was like, this is interesting, but no one was like really starting to think like, I mean, I think I was saying like, dude, this is going to be a big problem. But like,
even like, the Boston Dynamic robot dog thing was, 15 years ago?
And not that long ago. I mean,
it was about maybe 10.
They got good about 5 years ago.
But even 10 years ago, when people were looking at that robot, people were saying like, oh, they're going to put a gun on this. Like, Boston Dynamics had to come out and be like, we don't intend for this to be a militarized blah, blah, blah. I mean, we all knew they were lying, but they had to come out and say it at least because people knew that that's the direction that all of this is going to inevitably head.
Well, what's
But
funny is
even with that, there still hasn't been any kind of you can't put a flamethrower on a robot dog, and then sell it to the general public. Let me see if I can find it. We mentioned the flamethrowing dog, so let's see if we can show that. Company unveils robot dog companion with flamethrower attached.
So is it a Boston Dynamics dog? It's not Boston Dynamics.
I don't know if it's Boston Dynamics. Look at this.
Or is it just like its own separate dog? Yeah, I guess they're not the only robot dog on the block.
Look at this fucking thing.
Yeah, dude.
The way this thing is spinning is also kind of creepy to me.
It is.
Oh, it's got the laser sight? Why do you need a laser sight for a flamethrower? Look at the fucking hellscape imagery of like the flames in the back. It's like it's
not subtle.
It's marching away from devastation.
And how it's like lit green and has like a weird it looks like a fucking insect. You know what I mean? Like a death insect. This shit's not. It's on purpose.
God almighty.
I mean, it's like something you would shoot in a video game.
Literally. This is like an enemy from Helldivers 2 when you fight the automatons. I mean, they're showing it walking around. It's gonna there it is. I'm gonna skip ahead a bit. There, look at that shit.
There's the money shot.
What is the practical application of this?
They say like controlled burns.
Of what? Like a Vietnamese village? Jesus. I'm like, why is it stoked like that?
I don't know. A Vietnamese village.
God damn, dude. Like, seriously. What do you need to... You're not gonna... Like, this isn't like a brush fire kind of thing. Like, if you're on a ranch and it's like, you gotta do a... No, this is like crazy.
30 feet. It shoots flames 30 feet. Dude, whatever it just shot just went up.
Yeah, this is fucking crazy, man. Yeah, this thing says it's now for sale.
Yeah, no, it's...
Why is this...
All right, here's something that's kind of cool, and I guess it's kind of terrifying. It's an Ohio-based company that is selling the first ever flame-throwing robot
Even
dog.
when it was the Bears, I noticed that.
What could go wrong? Let me tell you what his name is. The Terminator, right? Just the name.
Can Boomer do this? Can Boomer do any of this?
This is a Terminator, right? Sweet. So you can operate this thing with Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. I mean, if something
they're
goes
laughing
wrong,
and joking.
nothing
It
could
feels
go
like this
wrong
is like
because this shoots
out of that
fire
movie
up to
Don't Look Up
30
or something.
feet.
Yeah.
You got cameras. Oh my gosh, the legs. Cameras and sensors allow the hot hound to move autonomously through its surroundings.
It's not good.
Terminator.
Could you take the Terminator for a walk?
Terminator can avoid. Oh my gosh, you take the dog for a walk and your grass is gone. It's a twofer, right? You have no more lawn care.
Meets a coyote. It's a crispy coyote.
Yep. Apparently. Okay, so this thing can avoid obstacles. It can leap in the air, and you can adopt your own for a cool $9,420. How did they get $9,420?
Those particular numbers?
By the way,
right now there's like a YouTube content creator buying that and making his first videos of like flamethrower dog does X.
In Maryland, but you need a
That's happening right this second.
I would be surprised if I'm actually kind of surprised that didn't pop up on on this little search result thing. Who's the company?
I mean, there were guys buying Cybertrucks and just shooting them with fucking machine guns. Of course, the bullets went through the Cybertruck.
Yeah, it's just all these fucking idiots thinking.
The guy was like, Elon, I need a new Cybertruck. You told me it was...
Oh, he did say it was going to be bulletproof,
yeah.
So there you go. That's what they were thinking. Now let me just go ahead and add this to cart.
See what the lead time is.
The what?
The lead time. Free U.S. shipping. I mean, how fast can we get it? Add to cart. Proceed to checkout. Calculate shipping. How about you just have it run to my house? Why does it need to ship?
Yeah, exactly.
Just program it with my address. If it runs into any problems, you see the flamethrower.
That's funny. Yeah, just keep that. Can you imagine? You just see a bunch of these things running down the street, just like, oh god, somebody in my neighborhood ordered one of these fucking things.
They did say, like, all right, so people say that it's possible for snow removal. on streets and
1 hour
stuff.
battery. I mean, I guess maybe that would be a cool application. Like,
it seems like they end up burning some shit.
oh
though,
yeah, they're gonna end up inadvertently burning.
But
unless it's like on the highway.
I did get stuck in the snow in Colorado a few months ago, and having one of these little guys come out with a flamethrower and melt the fucking road down would have been pretty cool.
Or you could just have a flamethrower yourself and just like.
That's true.
Yeah, like
I mean,
sell the flamethrower. Why put it on a robot?
You could honestly, if they made it like a little bit less, like maybe 5 feet. You know what I mean? So it literally could just burn what's right in front of it, and then just have it like they could be like automatically. It comes.
The future of fire delivery has arrived. Who is needing fire delivery?
You can tell this website is janky and it looks terrible.
Yeah, it's like they definitely slapped this thing
together.
Yeah,
this is some basic shit.
Oh my god, the future of fire delivery. Okay,
I bet they got one of these things. You know what I mean? And they're just gonna try and like on good press. You know what I mean? Maybe they can make some more of them if they can get a bunch of orders.
So this is the thing itself. This is just I mean, there's nothing special about the flamethrower.
No, it just shoots gasoline and has a little electrical arc.
Yeah, that's nothing. The real question is where'd they get this dog from?
Yeah.
What? Defense procurement and export. Yeah, this is where they're really planning on making their money right here. They're hoping, like, of course there are going to be a couple of schmucks in your neighborhood that's going to order one, but honestly, I bet you they're on the clock with the DOD 24/7 being like, come on, guys, you can just send a couple of these over to Afghanistan or wherever, and it'll take care of the problem without having to put a soldier anywhere near it. We're at the point right now where this stuff is still in its infancy.
Yes, very much so.
There's just a lot of shit going wrong, and it's not being handled by like NASA or something. It's being handled by a for-profit company that has every incentive to cut
multiple for-profit.
They have every incentive to like cut whatever corners they need to cut to reduce overhead and get people to pre-order these things, whether they're ready for prime time or not. So like there's too much of an ecosystem around all of it that just makes it not. I mean, I don't think it's just not viable right now.
No, it looks pretty bleak right now, honestly. I mean, it doesn't really look that promising, but
yeah,
it does kind of feel like that's where we're headed eventually.
Yeah, I think like maybe 25 years from now, if humanity is still around, we'll probably see combustion engines are probably going to be a novelty by that point.
I think in 10 years, I'm not going to say it's going to be completely different, but I think our view of it will be significantly different.
A lot is going to have to. The thing is, like, cars are fucking expensive, and they're only getting more expensive. And people are holding on to older vehicles. Even now, like, there are still people that drive cars from the 80s and shit. So, like, getting rid of that is gonna take, like, you're either gonna have to have, like, a federal program like Obama's old Cash for Clunkers or something, like a supercharged version of that helps people get rid of combustion engine vehicles. That was a good
program, honestly.
It was an awesome program that didn't go far enough and didn't last long enough. Like, I was really upset that they did a decent thing for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
For a fraction of like the populace.
I got Marty into his new Subaru.
And it's dumb they haven't brought it back.
Yeah, Diamond Joe should bring that back.
That motherfucker doesn't even know where he is half the time.
I don't know, man. Diamond Joe is perilously close to canceling my student loans, and I am all in for Diamond Joe. If he does that shit,
how has he not hit you with that yet? Are the stipulations?
He tried, but the Republicans they fucked it up. Well,
he
challenged it in court.
He's done, but he's still done like.
Oh, he's trying. He's doing everything he can do. It would be awesome, I have to say.
Yeah,
I am looking forward because those motherfuckers.
Oh wait, that's not supposed to be. My line is supposed to be, I paid off my loans. Why do you get it? Why should you?
That's the thing is, I've actually theoretically paid my loans off as well. Not 6 times, but I paid them off. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I think I owed originally. I took out $30,000, and I've paid like $34,000 to $36,000 somewhere in there. You know what I mean? But you know how much they still think I owe them? $28,000. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, dude, what the fuck? You know, I mean, part of me is just like, what if I just said, hey, eat a dick. I'm not going to pay you this. You can take me to court or whatever.
I've often thought about that. Like,
I already tried that. I'll tell you what happened.
Take your itemized payments. Like, this is the loan amount, as you see here. This is how much I paid. I paid the amount off. This is how much after I've already paid the amount that I took the loan out for. This is the additional amount in interest that I paid.
Yeah, you made some money.
You made money.
I got to go to college.
I paid
this is over, right?
Loan. Yeah, that's as far as this is going to go. Like,
yeah.
Like,
I think you could theoretically try to do that if you were willing to sue. You know what I mean? Like, you might be able to sue for that.
Can you sue to...
You're asking ChatGPT.
Can you sue to get out of future payments? By the way, ChatGPT is notoriously wrong on...
It's a liar, dude.
On most things. So this is not legal advice.
And even ChatGPT is like, it sounds what your contract says.
In general, the terms of the student loan are governed by contracts between the borrower and the lender, typically a financial institution or government. If you paid the same amount of money that you took out as a student loan plus some interest but still haven't paid off the full balance yet, it's likely there's still an outstanding balance remaining on the loan. Yeah, of course, that's the part that I want to get away from, dude. Whether you could sue to get out of the future payments will depend on various factors, including the terms of your loan agreement, any applicable laws, and the specific circumstances of your situation. In most cases, simply having paid a certain amount equal to the initial loan plus some interest doesn't necessarily mean you're entitled to stop making future payments.
Yeah, I think it does.
I disagree with you,
I think that's the very nature of how it should work.
Yeah, I think you must have scrubbed some fucking financial...
Yeah,
some bank's website to get
exactly.
that part. Actually, the other day, I was, like, about a couple weeks ago, really, I was made aware of, what is it called, Suno AI?
Oh, dude. Like, there's even something way better than Suno AI.
What's better than Suno?
Fucking Udio AI.
Udio.
And it's pretty much going to put people like me out of... I'll be in a fucking breadline, dude.
That's what I was thinking when I was fucking around with it, making just random shit. And I was listening to it and I was like, you know, like, this isn't really going to do anything for, you know, like, very specific, tailored pop musicians of the world. Taylor Swift or The Weeknd or whatever, but for guys like you, like, this seems like it's going right after your neck.
Yeah, it's really weird. I will say how all the tech bros have come after artists.
Yeah,
they come after funny. Like painters and writers and musicians.
It's like,
why?
All of this like AI engineering.
It doesn't do anything but this.
It's like, oh, okay, so we're devoting all of our time, money, resources, and energy into developing technology
to put artists out of business.
Paints and write poems.
Yeah,
like, really? So like we're all gonna.
It
was supposed to be the opposite way around, right? Like the robots were supposed to be doing the hard labor while we all do the artistry and the philosophizing. But now we're working like slaves for robots to paint pictures?
Yeah. Today I looked up, is there an AI like that can essentially populate a circuit board? Like you can give it a schematic, it can look at the schematic, read it, and then populate a circuit board based on the schematic using artificial intelligence that's most, No. Not at all.
You know what?
It'll fucking make films. It'll make songs. It'll make fucking the pretty pictures. It'll do all that. Is there an AI that can diagnose illness or look at a fucking...
Wait. So, again, about a month ago or so, I was having that exact same rant to myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a second. Maybe it's just because that's not sexy, so it doesn't really get into the headlines, and I should look this up. And I don't think, like, none of the answers were compelling enough for me to think, oh, okay, they're actually doing stuff.
Oh yeah, it's way behind. Yeah,
it's way behind what fucking going after
the
artists.
Yeah.
But like, it could be cool.
No, if they had put half the effort into fucking, mechanical stuff and medical stuff that they've put into trying to rip off Larry Elmore or fucking Stephen King or Charles Bukowski or whatever it is. Yeah, there's no telling what it would be.
Because, the thing is, that's hard though.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to take everybody's pictures and music and dump it into like a sausage grinder and then like have some magical algorithm on the back end rearrange it, recompose it, and figure out how to copy it, and then spit that out as something original and just say, hey, it's AI.
I just think too that there's like in the tech sector, I think that there's just a lot of like, I think in America, just in any kind of society, there's a lot of weird jealousy and or anger towards artists. You know what I mean? It's just, the simple fact that there are some people with talents that not everybody has. It's like, oh yeah, well check this shit out. You know what I'm saying? Now we're all talented.
Why I don't get that. I don't understand that.
Dude, and you can look at any of the threads on like, some of those AI generating video platforms like, oh, Hollywood's so done. I can't wait for all those fucking people to, see now that we can do, a guy in his basement can do exactly what they can do. It's like, why do you guys, what is it that you guys have against the people that are actively out there trying to entertain you? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. I don't get it at all.
That is very strange.
Although I will say this, as cool as all that AI shit is, and as advanced as it is, and it's very advanced, the problem AI has right now is that every time I try, because I watch it very closely, I'm checking it out, and I try to use it in different circumstances.
Yeah.
And right now, it is pretty fucking useless.
It's very limited.
As amazing as all of it is, if you want to do something, it's great for someone who doesn't have a creative bone in their body. And they're like, I want to make a movie like The Matrix, only it's like about a guy who maybe he's a programmer at a company, and then he finds out, like he just does that kind of rough thing and then puts it in and it generates some shit. He's like, oh, this is fucking awesome. It's great for that. But if you're actively trying to do something, like I was trying to animate, I was experimenting. We were working on a project for a client, and we were trying to experiment on, could we use any of this generative AI stuff to speed up our workflow? You know what I mean? Could we use it to animate backgrounds? And, could we generate still images and then create a CGI? So essentially what we were like, okay, we want to create a still image in, say, Midjourney that's photorealistic.
Yeah.
Could we then take the photorealistic image of the main character in the foreground and then generate a believable CG character from that image, and then animate the background using video tools, you know what I mean? And make it move just a little bit, make it feel real, you know what I mean? And dude, extremely limited, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's very cool in certain ways, unless you're trying to do something really specific. And then it's pretty much utterly useless.
And I use it at work to help me with like a lot of my script writing.
Yeah.
And same thing. Like I could use it to get like a framework. Like I need a script that'll do this, and Python and whatever.
Yeah.
And it'll give me a basic framework. And without fail, like about 35 to 40% of it will be wrong or useless. And it's always like I spend all of my time like trying to get it to function the way that I need to function, because like, I don't expect it to be like a turnkey answer anyways, but like I at least expect it to give me accurate information. And a lot of the times, like for that sort of stuff, it's not accurate. Like, and I was as part of like my whole AI and other applications kind of research thing I was doing. Like I was looking at how, because generative AI is the point of contention, and I was thinking about like, okay, what about non-generative AI? What applications could that have that wouldn't be quite as destructive in the art realm?
Yeah.
And I think it was, what is it, Beyond the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse? That was the second one. The animators were using some kind of an AI tool to help them do touch-up art on some of the, and it seemed like that was a pretty cool application of it, but it still didn't seem like it seemed like, as much as we hear about how AI is this destructive force that's coming for everyone's job, it still feels like, really, this is what's gonna put people out of work?
Well, I mean, it's weird because I think that it won't put everyone out of work, in the sense that, like, that's what I tell people, because we talk about this in my work a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have different people. I'm more of a doomer when it comes to this stuff, simply because it depends on what aspect of the market you're in, right? If you're working on top flight shit, you know what I mean? Say you're working on commercial spots that are going to play on major networks and during the Super Bowl, really top flight shit.
Yeah.
There's no scenario where a bunch of AI is going to, it might enhance workflows here and there doing, this with CG or compositing or something.
That's kind of the same thing that I think about, like for something like Suno or that other thing you mentioned, where it's like, it's not going to replace Taylor Swift or something like that.
Yeah, but those are people those are like huge superstars.
I'm just talking about, I'm not even talking about specifically as superstars.
Industrial applications, where it's not, theoretically it could, but I mean, to your point, we're making the same point, is that at the end of the spear, you know what I mean? People are going to want, if you're working at an ad agency and you're charging your major Fortune 500 client a fuck ton of money, and they're paying a fuck ton of money for they're not just going to slap some fucking song they pumped out of Udio on there. You know what I mean? I mean, they might. But they're probably not.
What they'll do is they'll use Udio to create the framework of the song, and then they'll have someone like you to fix it up and make it special.
But where it will become a thing is there is multiple tiers of work down here. You know what I mean? That at one point in time in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, generated a fuck ton of money. And still does for a lot of people. But as like music libraries and stuff have become more pervasive, and they've kind of erased to the bottom in these tiers. But these tiers of work will essentially go away because they just don't have the sophisticated asks. It's like, it would be cool if we hired a director and really came up with a concept and shot something, but man, that would be so expensive. And we can just kind of hire a couple of guys out of the ad department at UT or at, USC, and they can work at our company and just kind of pump shit into, they already know how to edit. They can pump shit into, Sora all day long and just kind of come up with, they got Udio, they got Sora, you know what I mean? Whatever the new versions of those are, they can pump shit in. We're paying these guys like right out of college. We're paying them like $50K a year. We got 2 of them, and they make our spots for us. You know what I mean? Or whatever. And it's like whole companies base their livelihoods on that tier of work, and that tier will completely go away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a bummer, man. That's maybe they should pass a law, like you were saying, just basically saying you can't use generative AI in any kind of professional application.
Yeah.
I don't know how they would enforce it, but they could,
there's always
try.
a way. There's a way somehow.
I mean, that's probably the only thing they could do to keep it from just radically fucking up the landscape. Because it's only a matter of time. Like I was watching, there's a really great YouTube channel called Cold Fusion that talks about developments in AI and robotics and just general stuff. It's a cool channel.